What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Dragon Destinations. My name is Drew Heath. I'm the director of athletics at Drew. As always, we're talking to student athlete alumni who had a good career at Drew School and then went on to play a college sport. Today, we got someone very, very special. Might be our most decorated athlete to come from Drew, but funny enough, didn't actually play a sport for us. So very excited to bring on David Rauchwerger. David, what's up, man?
How's it going? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate you doing this. So kind of just want to jump right into it. For those that don't know, you currently are on the gymnastics team at Cal, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
When did the whole journey of getting into that start for you? Like, I'm guessing you probably started super, super young.
Yeah, gymnastics?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have two older brothers that did gymnastics before me. So really when I was born, I kind of got put right into it and got to work. My oldest brother went to Cal. He was also on the team.
Nice.
Was captain his junior and senior year, so I got to see a little bit of what life was like um, from his perspective for gymnastics and for college.
Nice. And
Yeah.
did your other brother compete as well too? That's what you said?
Yeah. He competed up until high school. And then he had like a wrist injury that kind of took him out. So he went to UC Santa Cruz just to study.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Um, so as we mentioned, you go to Drew School. What was the balance like for you competing at gymnastics at this high level while also balancing just a life of a high school student?
Yeah. At the time it was a little hectic, right? Because I was practicing every day from 5 to 9 and it
Mm,
would end at like 3:10. So I was out the door on the bus and then getting straight to gym. Um, Drew Drew really helped me out in this process, though. I can't say that I did this all alone.
mm,
Um, they were pretty integral in how they helped me manage school, like my time in school and my time in the gym and what I did after the gym and like how I was going to deal with work and or schoolwork and stress management, which is a huge thing that a lot of athletes are dealing with today.
mm. No, that's big, and I'm happy to hear that too. As you know, we have a decent amount of kids that do compete in sports outside of school, whether it be gymnastics or we got kids that are equestrian riders, water polo, rowing. So we definitely want to support kids if they're taking something serious outside of school too. Um, you end up getting an awesome opportunity to go to Cal, just like your brother did. Were there other schools you were considering besides Cal?
So yeah, men's gymnastics is actually a scarce sport for college. There are only about 13 teams in the United States with men's gymnastics.
Wow.
I always knew that I wanted to be close to home. I wanted to stay in California. Um, so my really only two options were Cal and Stanford. And
Okay.
Stanford is I mean, the application process is rigorous on its own, but they've been the number one ranked team for 3+ years now.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
so to apply at my time was a tough journey. I
Yeah.
was in the talks with them, but Cal was offering me the spot a lot sooner than they were. So I decided to jump on that. I didn't want to lose that opportunity.
Nice. So it ended up being a golden bear. I mean, I'm sure that added to some of the rivalry that's already
Yeah,
there between the
yeah,
two schools.
yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. We were talking a little bit offline about it. Your first year at Cal was also the first year of COVID for everyone. Um, Kind of walk us through that whole first year, summarize just kind of that whole experience of not only are you first year college athletics, you're first year college student, and this thing is taking over the world.
Yeah, so jumping into my freshman year, the only three things I knew were classes, the inside of a gym, and the inside of my apartment, and that was it. Um, I would I would start class around 8 a.m. And that would take me all the way until practice, which is 10 to 2.
Mm,
And then So that would be a trip to the gym and then a trip right back. And I was just on Zoom all day long after that and studying. So it wasn't much of a traditional college experience, but it was it was nice to have some sense of independence. And I did enjoy it, but it wasn't, yeah, well, again, it wasn't that traditional college experience. I was really on a screen my entire first year and then
Yeah.
gym. So it wasn't anything too crazy, but it was I would say like a benefit was that I did get to transition into the college lifestyle a bit easier.
Mm,
Uh, really everyone in my class was kind of, they didn't experience my freshman year. Um,
yeah.
and so when I was a sophomore and then we had new freshmen coming in, I was kind of getting to know the campus just like they were. So I didn't really feel alone. So it was an easier transition.
Yeah. No, we're all happy that things are finally starting to get back to normal.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of segueing off of that, what is a typical like day in the life for you now? But like, so yeah, walk us through. It could be like a practice day or maybe a day where you're competing. What does like a typical day look like for you?
Yeah. It's a 7 a.m. wake up.
Oh boy.
Uh, it's getting ready for classes at 8, and that usually takes me until about 10. And then I'm straight to the gym after that. And that practice is around 4 hours. So it's usually 10 to 2. Um, and I'm getting into some upper division, like my major requirements. So
Mm,
sometimes that conflicts with practice. So I got to like work around. So my schedule isn't entirely the same, but typically it's 8 to 10 classes, 10 to 2 practice, and then 2 to 7 classes. And then I'm studying for the rest of the night. Um, yeah, so it's
it's
nothing too
jam
special,
packed.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's hectic. It's definitely
Yeah.
hectic for the week.
I think that's one of the things that's been consistent talking with you and then all the other people we've had on is the time commitment and time management that you need to be a college athlete, regardless of what sport it is.
Yeah,
It's a much bigger toll and ask, but I think it's definitely worth it if you do have the opportunity to do it. It's kind of a two-part question for you. What advice would you give to someone who wants to wrestle collegiately? And also, what advice would you give to someone who might be in the same position as you were in high school, where they have the skill set or this thing they're very good at, but it isn't offered at the current school that they're attending?
yeah. I'm gonna jump in with that second question because that was something I was dealing with for a long time. Is I'm putting in all this work outside of school,
Mm,
and no one's really noticing. And that's kind of hard to deal with because uh, I don't know, you're kind of working behind the scenes, and that is it's hard to stay motivated, right? Because you don't have your classmates coming to your games and watching you compete, and it's kind of difficult because no one knows what you're doing. Uh,
mm,
but Drew actually did a really good job, kind of accommodating my athletics outside the school and kind of making it noticed around the school, which was really nice. They didn't have to do that, but uh, kind of honoring my work that I put outside the classroom, and that was something really great that they did for me. But yeah, just staying motivated. I know it's difficult. I know you're not being noticed, but if you're putting in the work, like it will pay off. Like my huge motivation was if I can get into a collegiate sport for gymnastics, then I will be representing my school at one point. And
mm.
it's hard to know that through middle school and high school, you can't do that just because sometimes it's not offered, and that's all right. But most likely college will have that sport that you're participating in, and it's worth it in the long run, most definitely.
Nice. No, dude,
Uh,
I think before I was going to say, I think you kind of are a trendsetter for the school in the sense of we now offer PE credit to kids that are an outside activity.
so
So we do acknowledge, hey, if you are busting your butt in fencing or whatever it is, we do want to recognize that and be like, hey, let's give you some credit for that. And also, we've tried to start giving kids maybe like Drew like gear and logo. So cool, you're doing rowing. We don't have a rowing team, but maybe we can give you some like Drew like life vests or something. Or hey, you're
Yeah,
fencing. We don't have a fencing team, but maybe we can get like a Drew logo on your like mask or something.
that's that's
So
huge.
just little ways. Kind of like you said, it is tough, and we can't necessarily always support it, even if we want to. But how are ways we can kind of like shine that light for you, and give you the credit that is due.
That's
So
huge.
kudos to you, bro, because you kind of started that for us. And yeah, and second one, I'm trying to wrestle at the collegiate level. What advice do you got for me?
Yeah, I don't really know what the recruiting process is for wrestling, but I mean, it's cliche, but hard work does pay off. Like if you put in the time and you put in the hours, like your work will show through um, when you're competing. And um, yeah, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, no, if high school junior or sophomore, basically like what advice would you give yourself now if you can go back and be like, this is what you need to do to get to the next level?
Oh, okay. So I thought you were specifically talking about wrestling.
Oh no, I mean it could be wrestling, it could just be, hey,
Uh,
like you got to get to the next
yeah,
point.
that's a good question. So I always had a hard time like managing academics and athletics. And I kind of thought of it as two different lifestyles. Like, how can I take care of my athletics and then separately take care of my academics?
Mhm.
But I mean, you're one person, so I tried to. I realized that my results did better when I conjoined those two, and I really thought about, okay, listen, man, like your academics are important and your athletics are important, but how can you manage both at the same time?
Mhm.
And it's something I referred back to is um, a PPC balance. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's production capacity and production, and
Ooh,
and it's like how much time and effort do I need to work to put into my production and my result.
mhm.
And it's striking that balance between athletics and academics, which is ultimately your production.
Yeah,
'Cause it's not going to be you're just a student or you're just an athlete. You got to find that student athlete balance. And really, it's all about time management. Um, if I had to give myself any advice, it's find that in between because you gotta pay attention to both. Both are very crucial in the recruiting process, and you can't just have one.
yeah.
So really pushing yourself in the classroom like you do in your sport and vice versa, and treating it as one because ultimately they're both going to get you there.
I love that. That was a great answer, man. I love that. That was awesome. Um, Last but not least, if why should an eighth grade kid come to Drew? Why should someone attend Drew school?
Ooh, okay. I mean, there are a lot of answers, but the first thing that comes to mind is community. Um, Community is huge when you're growing up and you have to split off and be an independent. You know what I mean? And Drew does a great job of taking students and making them feel welcomed and at home.
Mhm.
And that's through staff, that's through students, um, and that's through athletics. Obviously, like you got a team, you got a family, and that's huge. Going into a new environment and meeting new people, um, it's not easy to build a community. Like you got to trust your people around you,
Mhm.
and Drew does a great job of community engagement. Um, and that's something that's really special within the school. And I knew that on my oh, what are you an in-house? What do you call it when you like just go tour the school? Is that just what it is?
Oh yeah, no, just an in-house tour. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the recruitment process for academics, I was an eighth grader and I was walking around Drew, and what split Drew from the rest of the schools is that when I was walking around, the amount of hellos and highs I got
Mm,
from students that were already at the school who had no idea who I was, just knew me off a name tag.
yeah,
Was crazy, was absolutely crazy. And I knew that, this school is something else because I didn't get that anywhere else.
yeah,
That's what splits Drew from, that's what separates them from the rest of the high schools in SF.
yeah. No, that I couldn't agree more. Um, your senior year at the school was my first year working there, and I felt the same. It was funny you said I felt the same way even as a faculty member. Um, everyone was welcoming. The kids were nice. My coworkers were great. Which isn't always the case at other schools, even for faculty members, right? Sometimes you go somewhere and the kids hate you, but um, everyone was dope and cool. So no, I mean that was awesome. But David, man, I appreciate you jumping on and doing this. It was awesome. You could do it. I think you got some gems that people are gonna love. For everyone else, this was Dragon Destinations. We'll see you guys next time.